After JJK chapter 227, there's been a lot of fraudulent accusations being thrown at Yuta's name. I mean, there are people calling him Puss in Boots, people saying he's a Rika merchant, some people are saying he needs to get a towel to wipe all of this sweat off his face. Because he is just sweating, like every single second we see this guy, he's just sweating time and time again, and he looks like a scared little bunny rabbit as well. Now, okay, I will admit, maybe it is my fault a bit that this agenda is being pushed so much, and I may have accidentally spread it like wildfire recently with some of the posts I've made online. Maybe. But I mean, I do think there's a bit of truth to it. He is looking really fraudulent unlike some other characters, you know, Maki looking ice cold, you know, she's so confident. Kashimo saying he'll step in, like, goddamn, he's saying don't stop me. It's the opposite of everyone else. He wants to go in as soon as possible. But as the one who's actually pushed this agenda so heavily and, you know, made it such a big thing, I actually should address, is Yuta actually a fraud, or am I going too far? Or maybe not, maybe he really is the GOAT, you know, potential honored one as some people are saying, which is wild considering his reactions this chapter. Okay, but let's just talk about that today. And hey, do your boy solid and leave a like, especially if you're a Yuta fan, so thank you if you do. And of course, be sure to subscribe for a ton more JJK content on the channel, a ton of analysis, power scaling, live stream breakdowns, and spoiler videos too, so if you love JJK, trust me, you won't regret it. And of course, thank you to the honored one, special members of the channel, Jujutsu Kaisen and that guy Trey. Okay, so the first thing I have to actually address is, first of all, I love Yuta. He's amongst my top 6-7 favorite characters in JJK, maybe even top 5. Seriously, he's an absolute cinnamon bun, he's got a very sweet heart, and I just love characters like this, and especially because he's strong too. He's just a really cool guy, like honestly, if there's anyone in JJK who you would want to be friends with in real life, Yuta's probably one of the only guys, you know, most of them are absolutely crazy. So I want to throw that out there because people actually truly do believe and think that I hate Yuta. No, I don't, but I just like to poke fun of him a lot, A, because it's funny, and B, it's just a mess with his super fans. And you know, I've been doing this for a long time. Some of my oldest videos are on Yuta, and just time and time again, I always see his like mega fanboys just overrate him and overscale him so badly and give him such an insane level of wank and bias, and it's because of those reasons that I poke fun of Yuta, not because I actually don't like the character. It's because of his fanboys. And not all Yuta fanboys, keep in mind, like I myself am a Yuta fanboy, it's the super mega ones that just take it way too far. I think the only character that's even comparable to him is obviously Gojo and Sukuna, but that's just a whole different breed. But Toji and Maki, for some reason they have an equal level of insufferable hyper mega fans. It's a very small portion of the fan bases of all these characters, but it's a very loud minority. Okay, but let's actually talk about what was going on in this chapter and why I've been calling him a fraud and making these memes about him, right? It's because every single time we see him, ever since this whole fight is going on, he's just sweating constantly. Like, this is impossible, this can't be the case. How is he doing this? Like, my guy, relax, chill out, enjoy the fight, just watch it, it's a movie, man. But he's like standing up to Kusakabe like, no way. And I'm like, man, seriously, someone get this man a towel. He is drenched. Every panel I see of him, he's got like 10 sweat beads. And then Shoko's out here saying, oh, you know, you can do this reverse curse technique. He's like, that's impossible, no, but oh, I see Gojo's doing it, so I guess not. The funniest part is he's actually got the most realistic reaction out of everyone here. Like, if I was in the JJK verse, even if I was a special grade, if I saw Sukuna and Gojo doing all this, I would probably have the same reaction as Yuta. But that's the thing, you know, I am not a special grade. I am not Yuta himself. I would expect these high tiers to be, you know, some of the cream of the crop, the best of the best. And obviously we see that, you know, Kashimo, not a single drop of sweat on him. Like, literally saying like he's just some random guy. Like, if he dies, if that fraud dies, I'm stepping in, I'm taking on Sukuna. Like, you would think characters would be scared to fight Sukuna and you'd have to force people to fight him. Kashimo's the opposite. He's like, no, don't stop me, you know? Or then we have Hakari, he's chilling with his girl, you know? It's like they're watching a movie, he's just chilling, he's having fun. Maki, ice cold. She looks like she's ready to just step in and fight Sukuna right now as well. And I even think Yuta's a lot stronger than Maki, but Maki, unlike her boyfriend, is so calm and collected. And it's because of all of these things and how he looks compared to other characters that I say, you know, Yuta's a fraud, a merchant, he's not really him. And again, all in good fun as well, like it's never that serious. Though I do think most people know I'm just joking about this, right? It's just jokes. Though some people don't, but it is what it is. You know, where there's actually people who take my Yuji or Yuta trolling to heart and think I'm dead serious, and I guess understandably so can't detect the sarcasm, right? Maybe if you're from like different parts of the world, maybe you just don't get the British humor, right? Understandably so. I've even gotten donation messages thinking I actually hate these characters and people being super upset, which is wild though, to be honest, that does happen, but it's funny though. Now, as for Yuta himself, right, in lore, I do think even though he's sweating nervously and he looks like he's about to just crap his pants, right? Half jokingly, if Gojo loses, he's up next. Please, by all the gods, by Tengen, please do not let Sukuna win this fight, because I do not want to step in there and fight this monster if Gojo loses. He's like, oh my lord. If I step in there, Rika, oh, getting no diff, I'm getting no diff. So I can actually understand why he's sweating, because because he did say, oh, I'll switch out with you if you're losing. I bet he's really regretting those words. Now, trolling aside, it is pretty interesting because there's that great theory of now that he's seeing that you can use reverse curse technique to heal your curse technique, that because of this, Yuta can actually permanently have Rika fully manifested, and by extension, he'll have his curse technique 24/7. So the way it would go is that when he's fully manifests Rika, he would use reverse curse technique to actually heal his curse technique while it's out, so that the 5 minutes last far longer than that, and it would become, let's say, 10 minutes, maybe 20 minutes, or maybe it's just infinite now because he keeps healing it, and he won't have to worry about curse energy because as long as Rika's out, Rika's gonna keep refueling his curse energy. So he will literally have limitless cursed energy, have Rika fully manifested for an infinite amount of time, and have his curse technique out all the time. Now, this won't put him on Gojo and Sukuna's level, obviously, but it would make him so much more stronger, and I honest to God think if he actually does this, or even if it's just for 30 minutes, maybe let's say it's not infinite, right? Maybe that's going too much, but it should be, in theory, he should be able to do that. He would even be stronger than Kenjaku, which is someone who I think would beat Yuta. And then obviously I have my whole theory about Yuta's actually going to get a big power up where maybe he sacrifices Rika, or the time limit extends, or whatever it is, and he's beating Kenjaku, but then Kenjaku uses his domain expansion body swap sure hit to actually take Yuta's body, and we see Yuta with the stitch marks across his forehead because Kenjaku would be forced to do this. By the way, those are two separate videos, the Yuta power up video and then Kenjaku taking Yuta's body, so if you're interested in that, you know. But yeah, it's like I saw some Yuta fans like Lagan was saying, Yuta right now, it's like he's a football player or a basketball player. He's watching the tape, he is watching the film, he's studying, he's learning, and he is preparing himself best as possible to actually prepare to fight Sukuna. And I actually do think out of all the characters in the series, I think Yuta has the highest chance of having a really great moment, beside Yuji, of course. Yuji is just guaranteed to get one. So I really do think Yuta's gonna have that massive, awesome shine. We're gonna see, maybe if he fights Sukuna, probably not that, but maybe if he fights Kenjaku as well. I mean, the way that I actually see it happening is if Gojo actually loses and he's about to die, Ui, who is there watching, he would just teleport literally everyone in there. So he'd grab onto, I don't know, let's just say everyone, because he has a teleportation technique, and he'd just teleport everyone there and they'd save Gojo last second. Maybe or maybe not, we'll see how it goes. But man, Yuta is lucky Kashimo was there, and Kashimo was willing to step in because I'm sure he is so glad that Kashimo was there with his curse technique. Thank God, this guy can fight for me, I don't have to fight. But now to answer the question, is Yuta a fraud? Does he have fraudulent activity? When he calls, do you see potential scammer? And the answer is yes and no. Yes, he looks fraudulent. I mean, he looks even more scared than characters like Miwa and Momo, but just because he looks fraudulent, just because he's sweating like a fraud, just because he's acting like a scared little snow bunny rabbit, that doesn't mean he is one, right? I'm sure he's gonna have his great moment, and I'm sure it's really gonna pay off, whatever that big power-up's gonna be. And at the end of the day, all these memes and jokes and fraudulent agendas, it's all for good fun, and it is nice to, you know, go back and forth with the Yuta fans, especially most of the fans. At the very least, I think the majority of people are well aware that all of this is trolling and I'm always joking, so thankfully, actually, all the Yuta fans take it very well. They're actually really good sports about this whenever I post these stuff, which is honestly nice to see, and you know, it does give me another level of respect for the diehard Yuta fans. You know, they can take jokes. But what are your thoughts on Yuta? Is he a fraud, you know, potential fraud calling, or is he the GOAT, the honored one, and he's gonna have the honored one moment? You know, my answer, both, but you know, I'm trying to have my cake and eat it too. And if you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like, it really does help out. Thank you a lot if you do. And of course, be sure to subscribe for a ton more JJK content on the channel, just like this, analysis, what if, reviews, power scaling, breakdowns, and spoiler videos too. Trust me, if you love JJK, you will not regret it. And of course, thank you to all the members of the channel as well. You guys are absolutely legends. If you see your name on the screen, you're an absolute legend. But that is all. Thank you guys very much, and take care.